about our good friend Gohan.
He's good?
No, don't call him your friend.
Alright, fuck that nigga. We talking about that bitch ass nigga Gohan.
Keep that energy, yeah. Like, I love it.
Rating his character from S being the highest, obviously, and D being the lowest. What you put that nigga as an overall character, including Super and Z.
Capital B.
I say C.
B.
I'll put him on a C, leaning towards D.
Again, I would say Goku's in the middle, closer to hard work.
Inside.
In the middle, leaning towards C hard work.
It's an inside though.
It's funny because I got what he said, you bastards. No, y'all, nah.
So overall, so that's like Z.
That's disrespectful.
What is disrespectful?
Yes, it is.
What did you put him
grade down?
B.
And the first thing you said was C, and then you said
that was a mistake.
But you said you thought about it.
So
So
I thought about like which one is higher.
You thought which one is higher between B and C?
That's even a regular. That's a regular schooling. Like yo, it's not.
And you have a degree.
But look, he's a B. You can't take away.
How is it disrespectful to put him one level under?
Because that's grimy. Wait, what? No, you said C to D.
Leading to D.
C leaning on D.
That's bad.
Nigga, that's like CD. Nigga, what the fuck?
I'm joking. I only said that to see if they'll catch on.
Oh, but you said C.
Nigga said that's CD.
Nah,
I'm sorry. Super fucked that nigga up.
Yeah,
Not only did they make that nigga weaker, they took away from his role. The way they went with his character did not add to the show. Basically, no one likes that shit.
It did add to the show.
No, it did not.
It
did not add to the show in a positive way.
I like seeing him in his dad's fight. I like seeing him getting his power back.
I'm mad niggas like that shit too. But carry on.
And I'm talking about more his family thing, which was like the bigger part of his character in Super.
Right, go ahead.
No, it wasn't. That was not a bigger part of his character in Super.
What was the bigger part?
Him protecting the world and fighting.
I mean, y'all always talk about him becoming a family man, so I'm curious about
this. That's the thing that
when did he
him,
protect the
in
world?
Super, that's not the biggest
When did he
thing.
protect the world?
Fighting in the tournament of power.
That's the
and fighting against Frieza.
That's the last arc.
And fighting against Frieza. I don't remember what he did with Zamasu. Did he do anything with Zamasu at all?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Wait, what? Zamasu? No, he didn't.
So he was just not in the shit at all.
So that goes to Korean's point. The biggest part was his family shit.
Alright, so for Zamasu, he didn't do shit. So for the first half, for half of Super, he didn't do shit because that's Zamasu and Beerus, right? He didn't do shit. Except for giving
the Beerus fight, he held hands.
Yeah, so he didn't do shit basically. I mean, he
played
a role.
He added, but then like,
he played a role, but he didn't.
He played a role. Yeah.
He fought in that tournament where Goku fought hit.
He didn't do it. He was a spectator.
Yeah, he didn't fight.
But isn't that still the same thing like the part 1 and 2 of that? Like there was a pre.
No, I was trying to give him props. I thought he did something that he was I forgot.
No. He only fought with
bro.
He only fought with the dogs.
Dogs? No, they was nice. No, they wasn't nice.
I'm talking about before the tournament.
They were wolves, just to be clear.
Yeah, put some respect on them.
Put respect on these niggas' names. I'm joking, but I'm just saying they're not wolves. I mean, they're not dogs.
Magellan don't hold it.
But yeah, I think.
Let a man speak.
You said
let the man.
Here's what I think.
Let the man speak, please.
I think it's a little wild to say that.
It's asinine. Say it.
That his character overall is a C.
Yes.
Oh my bad.
Yeah, because Gohan from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, he's an A.
Great.
Yes, great.
Okay, great ass character, right? We've seen his greatness with Ultimate Gohan. We've seen his greatness with the Super Saiyan shit.
Slow your roll.
What do you mean? He was the strongest.
We didn't see. What you said? We saw greatness with what?
Greatness with Ultimate Gohan. Like he was a top nigga. That's what I.
What was the greatness?
He was a top nigga. He was stronger than his
Trevor
dad.
was
beating this shit out of
He was stronger than his dad.
What?
He was the strongest Z fighter. He pulled out the sword.
He wasn't the strongest Z fighter.
Yes, he was.
Goku Super Saiyan 3. And you got Vegito when they combined.
I mean, like, as a single character, he was the strongest.
Okay, alright, true. That don't count. That don't count.
Right?
But he lost to Super Buu.
But he was still great in that fight.
what he did that was.
I don't remember. Look, that's a question. Look, I'm just saying, you got Ultimate Gohan, which everybody
I would
loves.
say
Everybody loves Ultimate
Gohan,
Gohan, right? That nigga was. Everybody loved Ultimate Gohan. We got the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan that we love. We got him even as a little kid having all that potential, being strong, and then so we have all of that. Like he built something. And
then he broke it down.
No. And then you have in Dragon Ball Super,
they broke it down.
The first half, they violated him, right? You have the character that
he started to fall in Z. Just to let you know that.
You have the character. Yes, he did. And wait, well,
so it wasn't just.
I wouldn't say fall. I would say his
he fell a little bit, but then he
came back.
Yeah, he came back stronger than what he was.
Because he stopped fighting. He stopped fighting.
Yeah,
and
true.
Then,
no,
power
wise, he came back, but the only I can't call Mr. Gohan great for character, not power, character, because he came back
and he lost.
And yeah, that and plus when people think of Mr. Gohan, the only thing like people like hype up was the line he said to Super Buu. He was like, "I don't want to fight you, I want to kill you." Like that was the only thing I was like, yo, that was gangster. But like the fight itself, he just got he gave him a little thing and then he got absorbed. And it was like,
he got
people was like, yo,
bro,
what?
Yeah.
Like so it was like. It wasn't even like a big fight. Like he dragged it out. Like it was like they went out for a little bit and then he got absorbed.
Yeah, because Super Buu couldn't beat him.
No, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. But it's like because of what happened, I wouldn't say it's great character.
Gohan from
Z. I would say it. I wouldn't say that.
I say Super Saiyan 2 was great.
Mystic was the great. Because he didn't win or the transformation power wise it is because he was on the level or better.
Strongest. Goku. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But because like he lost with the observation, he got cocky and shit.
Right.
It took away from it a little bit.
But I'm not even touching Z.
He solved that in Super.
What?
Huh?
When he transformed him getting cocky, because that was one of the struggles that he had with Piccolo. Piccolo was saying that,
I know.
and then he kind of overcame. I think he overcame that.
That is true. Yeah, that is
with that. So
and
we
that
see
was demonstrated in Super.
In that, right? And then yes, the reason why I don't say he's great overall, I can't say that because they took a shit on him. Like, yes, you have the character death and him being a family member. At the end of the day, that did regress him in fighting, where he struggled. The nigga literally was gonna die. He was dying when he went Super Saiyan 2, and Piccolo had to pump his chest back for him to come back to life. Like he couldn't even do that shit, and he had to figure out a way to unlock his power back.
And you think it's crazy for me to call him a C when he couldn't even transform?
He could transform Super Saiyan 1. He couldn't go Super Saiyan 2.
That's what he's talking about.
But I'm saying yes, his power regressed, but then you see him in him getting his power back. I think it added to the story. Not him being a family man in terms of like the overall mission of what DBZ is really about, just fighting and defeating shit. That doesn't help the story. That's just bad, right? Like that doesn't help at all. Like you basically not basically wasted potential. Like the nigga could have been up there with Goku, and then even stronger.
In Super, they still mentioned he had the most latent power, and chose to.
Can I ask you a question? Any fight that Gohan did that got you hyped, like when you saw him in Super Saiyan 2, and when you first saw Mr. Gohan? Is there any fight in Super where it was like,
our boy is back?
I mean, when he came back to Mr. Gohan, I'm like, let's go. My son got his shit back. But that was him training with Goku.
Yeah, that's the only shit.
And then he got even stronger than that, because even then Goku was saying that's not his full shit. Yeah. And then in the tournament, I think that's when he got his full shit back, like all the way.
You didn't answer my question though.
I mean,
who's the strongest person?
I was hyped. I think it was this
fool. Yeah, probably.
I believe he fought Dispo.
This is sad.
See, that's my whole point. That's what my whole thing is based on. That shouldn't be Gohan level shit. Like even if he loses, he should be like fucking with Toppo or shit like that.
Dispo, Goku and Vegeta fought that big ass robot nigga. I mean, look. The nigga looked retarded, but
he fought the Namekian niggas.
Yeah, he fought the Namekians, and then he fought the brothers.
And the brothers, yeah,
the
wolves niggas.
Yeah.
That's them niggas.
And that nigga was a challenge because of the poison shit. And the more you power up, the faster the poison gets. So if Goku was caught by that shit too, like if without putting any aura, he power up, more poison is stinging. I mean, Goku would have spanked him anyway, but. I'm just saying, like, he struggled with that. But I think even in Super, he wasn't a character like how they do Yamcha and shit, where in the beginning, like, oh, my son, and then he's just trash from, like, Z.
Yeah.
And people is looking at the movie coming out as, yo, they better do good. They better give him
do justice by my son.
See? If they, you see what you just said? They better do what? Justice.
We got a whole
So that
movie
means they
about
do
him.
justice.
That makes sense.
That means they do justice to him in Tournament Power.
Like, violating his character, yes, but at the end of the day, I think he still served something in Super. I think the training part was still interesting to people. Like, yo, is he gonna get his shit back? What he gonna do? And then in the tournament, even though they wasn't like elite niggas, you know, like he had like multiple spotlights in the tournament where he got niggas out. You saw him the struggle. You saw him overcome the cocky shit.
He was the
So
captain.
that's why I think overall, especially, and then you have all the stuff that happened in Z, I would say he's still a good character. Like, he's not like.
Dragon Ball Z, one of y'all biggest things is hype and how y'all make people feel with y'all like screaming and all that good shit, nostalgia. Coming back and fucking up a beloved character like Gohan, that shit is not just some.
What did you just say?
He did a big
Because of
beautiful
hype, right?
Kamehameha. Huh?
You said because of hype and shit, right?
The show, your
So
anime.
you didn't do that?
He did.
Not for Gohan.
That's because take your feelings out of it. He didn't do that.
I'm not talking about my feelings. I'm talking about the millions of people online
And
that's always
millions of people was like, "Yo, fucking Mr. God, let's go to the comment. Him and his father is lit."
So overall, people was hype. Overall, people was
Niggas
happy.
was hype.
Overall,
When he got his form back and he with that whole fight with him with Goku, niggas was hype. Niggas was talking about that shit.
He's saying like, he said, that's that one time, but he's saying overall was people hype, like how they was hype for him in Z.
Oh no.
Like, we
Wasn't
know the
saying-
narrative of what people think of Gohan. Like, overall, Z, he's valid. Nothing but Z. Super, we know the narrative of what people think of him. They don't like it. 90% of that shit they don't like.
That's true.
And this is Gohan who beat Cell in a show where like, the biggest thing y'all do is like make people hype, and like that's what we want.
Yeah, martial arts.
That doesn't add
But
to
you
your.
can't say that. Because the reason why I'm saying we know from get-go. In same Z, you're talking about that peak of Gohan, you gotta look at the context.
He looked at me.
What is the context? You like context, right? What is the context? He was put in a position to do that. Goku was never forced in a position to fight Cell or whatever. That nigga wanted that challenge. Or wanted to fight Frieza and all these motherfuckers and shit like that. With Gohan, he was put in position to do that. He never went out and be like, "Oh bro, yo boo, come at me, bro. I wanna test my strength." Show me when he said that to the major villains that was established. Show me when he said that.
wait.
The only time
No.
No. I said the major villains that like Frieza and them niggas.
with Cell, but you can't really count that in what he's trying to say, because with that was him. That was the power getting into his head and getting.
Yeah, he
power.
was drunk in power. But
I'm saying
It's
for
facts.
those moments, it's not like before where he was just chilling like, yo, alright, come, let's fight.
I got
like
one.
he was
I got
cocky
one.
in that moment.
I got one. It wasn't cockiness, but there was one time he was like, "I'm going to fight him."
Who?
Vegeta. Krillin was telling him we gotta go, and he was like, "No, I'm going back to fight. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm gonna go."
Wait, what?
That
To test his strength? When is this?
That was on Namek.
No. Oh, you mean just to test his strength? I
No,
thought
like you
I
know,
thought
like
you just
Goku.
said to want to
No.
fight.
Look into what he said. Look what he said. He said, with the whole thing about the hype and all this shit, and he was talking about how with Gohan, like he should have been like with fucking Goku and all these niggas.
For what
right?
you saying?
But I'm saying in Z it was established. The peak that he was in Z. It was established that he wanted to be a scholar and all that shit. That was established
Well,
in Z.
he also has a. I just want to say this before people in the comments start saying shit. He does enjoy martial arts. He does have a love for martial arts. It's not
like
it's not a
use his
passion
violence.
the way
Yeah,
it
it's not a
is
passion. Yeah.
for his dad.
But my
But he
point-
still loves it. He still
part of
enjoys
what
fighting.
makes-
No. I'm not
Part
gonna
of-
hero and shit.
Part of what makes Gohan great in Z is the same thing. We know all that what you just said, and they still found a way to let him serve the purpose of the show, which is fight and hype us up. And that, to me, that would made him great. Of like, he's not like Goku, he's not like Vegeta. He has like more back then before Vegeta did his complete change and all that shit. I can make the argument Gohan is the best character in Z because of that reason. He has this dilemma where he's timid, he doesn't want to fight, but he still does. They still write him in a position where he has that going on, and he still serves the show to the utmost best, to where he surpasses Goku. And then in Super, now you have the same thing, but now it just doesn't serve the show anymore.
Yes, because one, he doesn't have a fucking family and kid. And I'm not saying this as a point to be. I know what you're talking about. Now we're talking about the totality. We're looking at Gohan, right? We're talking about totality, right?
Yes.
So why would you want to put him in the same level as Goku, who doesn't give a shit about what he care about his family, but he's like, yo, y'all niggas is good. I'm trying to be the best. Vegeta, I'm trying to be. He care about his family though. When you see when he would put shit aside. That's added to his character. He put shit aside, but he still do his thing. With Gohan, he's not. He's prioritizing other shit, which is a knock to his how we view the nigga from back then. But I'm talking about in context of how y'all want to view story and all this extra shit. That doesn't add to his story, but it adds to his character in terms of development. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm taking that all into consideration.
Just now, right?
Huh?
You say it didn't add to his story, but it added to his character.
Yeah, it added. No, it
He mean it doesn't add to the story.
to the story of the show, like his
But it
family
You said
shit.
his story.
Yeah. But it added to his character in terms of that. And the backside to that is because if you look at it this way, if he had his family and shit like that, and he was still busting his ass in training, niggas was not and doing his lit shit like he did in Z, left off in Z, niggas would not have no problem with him having a family. It's because he stopped training and he stopped being that nigga. But the way y'all put it is like the family is that shit. Take that shit. That nigga's trash, and the training. But it's like the family's okay as a plus for his character. It don't add no value to the show. But if you add the fucking training and him being the best nigga that he was, is valid. But again, that also had a backseat to his fucking character with him stop training and shit. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not gonna make any what ifs or whatnot. I'm just saying what they did with his character dropped the value of the character
But you
overall.
said you dropped it to fucking okay.
Yeah, I dropped it to a C. That's where I
Yeah,
think
no,
he's
it's
at
not.
right now.
That's what I'm saying. I think.
He went from A
That
to
logic,
C.
Because-
that logic
How's
don't make
that? How's
sense.
that?
I
Yeah.
understand everything you're just saying of like
If
he's
whole
still
Super was like that, I
hold
would
up,
have been
he's
like,
still
okay, I
a deep
understand
character.
that.
Like I can you can because of the family thing, you can still make the argument of like his character depth and all that. But my counter would be like none of that adds to the show.
Fucking Z and Super. You're pointing to instances in Super, right? You want to use whole Super, fine. We can pull out instances from Super where he got back his power and shit, like the little lit shit that he had. Obviously not compared to Z, but you can't take that away from him.
Even
With
in
how he
Super,
adds to the show.
even in Super, the bad still outweighs the good. With the multiple arcs where he just does nothing, and then the parts of his family where it's giving to his character, but the people just don't like it, and it doesn't add to the show in a positive way.
What about the arcs that did add to the show?
Yes, as I said, I didn't say there's no good. The bad just still outweighs the good.
Like what Mark said, the 50% of the show, that nigga was like, alright, boom. How is that still okay? From fucking Z, what we have, like you just said, you think that Gohan was the best written character in fucking Z. That's what you just
Wait,
said.
hold on. I can
You
think I
gave
can
him
make the
an S?
argument.
You can make the
That's
argument,
A.
whatever.
So you don't think he was who you think is an 8? It's an S in DBZ in their respective
He
shit.
doesn't think
As a
everybody.
character,
He doesn't think everybody's a ass. Like,
What?
just terrible.
Just a
writing.
written character.
yeah.
I throw Gohan in it.
As an S,
As a written, you said written
Yeah, as an
character.
S.
as a
As a written character.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though his shit don't serve the show,
Wait, what? You just put what? No, you confusing me. Cause you said Vegeta, you put in as a written character because we know.
everything. No one hates Vegeta for anything. I'm talking about like writing wise. There's like his family. He's like the perfect balance of like he knows when to go train, when to be like, no, I'm going take care of my kids. All that shit. He's still top tier. He's still
Why you doing that? He does.
I'm looking at him because I still think he prioritizes getting stronger over his
he
family.
took his
And there's
family to
many
the
times when
fucking shit.
Goku is like, Vegeta, let's go train. He's like,
Nigga
no,
was like, nah,
I gotta take care of my
That's some
family.
pussy whip. I love him though. Don't get me wrong. They
Still,
gonna
even
kill him
if
for that.
of like, think of this
I get
Vegeta,
what you're saying.
the nigga who fucking grabbed Android 19, the fat Android,
Yeah.
and was pulling his arms off, smiling at him. Evil Vegeta. Now looking at Goku like, bro, I gotta take care of my kid. But he can
That's
still
a
snap back
drastic
and be
change.
like, yo, I am still Vegeta, nigga. Don't fuck with me. But also they didn't fuck him up and have him dancing and shit like that. But whatever. He still balances that shit amazingly.
fine.
I can be like, that's perfect. Like that If Gohan was like that, I don't think anybody would say anything.
You slipping, bro. You slipping.
Especially, I'm actually happy you said that shit. Especially when you have Vegeta, which is like a perfect example of having a family, taking care of your family, and still serving the show the exact same way you did before. Like, why couldn't you do that with Gohan?
Because Gohan want to be a scholar.
He's a scholar.
That's fine, but that's my whole point of like, I'm not taking. I know his.
You tell me he can't go in the backyard and just be like,
hold on, don't get me wrong.
Come on.
I think that his character
It's like the same
way
thing with
better
like,
if he
And
did
plus,
that.
he did that in Z. He
Wait,
did
hold
it
up.
in Z.
I'm saying I agree that I think his character would have been way better if he balanced it in that way where like,
No, but
like
that's
even
what
if
he's
he was
saying.
training on the low, like we don't really see shit, but then when it's time for him to step up, we see this nigga still like at the top. That shit would have been lit.
But that's what he's saying. He's saying, why couldn't they do that for him in Super? Because
I don't know.
he wanted to be a
That's
scholar
not the
in Z, and he still was training at the end of Z when he was in school and shit. He still was out back throwing rocks with Gohan, Goten and all that.
Because
So
his dad was coming back.
Z, leading to a D.
Yo, I don't like this nigga, bro. Like he not even switching. Like yo, why? Like how we said all that and you still go?
because y'all didn't say nothing to change his mind.
Not even a C++ or some shit. Like,
That wasn't a part of it, bro. That was not a part of it.
Nigga said a C++. Nah, that's hilarious.
Just for, especially what you like to talk about, for expectations and all that stuff, I expected more from
expectations, he's a D. But
I'm combining it. I'm not just looking at
Then
expectations.
that makes this
okay.
shit perfect.
hold on.
CD?
Time out. No, hold on. Here's what I will say. For me, if you take into account for him what's important to him and what he is focusing on, and the fact that he's not irrelevant like Krillin and all these niggas, because Krillin care about his family too, but this nigga's he ain't doing really shit at all. Like he still spank Krillin.
He's a
you
human.
can still beat Piccolo. I know, but I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
Gohan
Piccolo's
is
an alien.
we look at Saiyans differently. Like, we expect more from them.
But as a character, if you take into account his goals and what he wants, and the fact that he still has the potential and he still was able to bounce back to his old self, even though he still have all that shit and he's pushing it to the side, and you could not expect him to be able to match up to Goku unless the nigga went into the hyperbolic time chamber for like 2 weeks and then got Beerus and all them niggas to train him on the God Key or some shit, which they should have done honestly. But I think overall, I think he's a good character, especially considering what he wants and his goals.
In Super, when they was picking people for the tournament, they was like, he still have the most latent power, and then Vegeta was like, but he can't use it right now. And then Goku was like, what a shame. So that still shows you, like, the show is still teasing us. They're like making fun of us, like, hey, we know you like him.
Where does it sleep?
Where does he sleep?
No,
on his left titty.
Where does the power sleep?
Oh, inside. What you mean?
It's how
They have a funnel of
on
that
his
shit.
left
if you run out of energy, he be tired. Where's the leg?
No.
hold
See
on.
his answer in the back. In the back with the S cells and the tingly thing.
Yeah,
That's something in his
something
back.
Yeah,
That's what they said.
Even-
But no.
No, like seriously, no other anime
Hold on,
does
now,
that.
let me finish.
That's why DBZ
They literally
is
came.
different.
Hold on, they literally came and told us he still has the most power out of these niggas already got
They
blue
didn't
and
say
shit.
that.
They said he has the most latent power, meaning if they wanted to, he could still be stronger than all of them. That's what it means.
Yeah, bust his ass and train.
Yeah.
He was the youngest Super Saiyan.
Right. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
he's
I'm
not.
saying.
Was
Oh,
the youngest
at
Super
some point.
Saiyan.
That's what I'm saying. They still told us like this
Yeah,
nigga that you
come
love,
on.
this nigga that you love so much, we could still fuck that nigga up. We could still make that nigga stronger than Goku, but we're not.
What are you
Watch
talking
him
about?
take care of his kids.
Okay.
That's fucked up, bro.
And the funny thing is,
That's messed up.
they don't even focus on him taking care of his
That's
family.
messed up.
They even show him in the.
Because he's a side character.
They didn't even show him in the classroom teaching people.
I mean, they did.
Did it?
I don't know if it was Phyllis though.
Now, like my whole point is like all that shit is like good and
Some
gravy
girl was
for his.
after him.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
All that shit is good and
Yeah.
gravy, but his character just don't serve the story, which makes it
Don't matter, still deep.
C.
If Toriyama didn't want it in there, you wouldn't put it in.
That
Alright, so why you don't say the same thing for Masada?
Yeah. I know that you gon' say 'cause you need something real.